7,200 people belong to this gym. Tonight, about 50 of them will show up. And that empty floor, the rows of treadmills nobody's running, the weights nobody's lifting, is not the business failing. It's the business working exactly the way it was designed to. Because a gym is the one company that quietly needs you to stop coming. It sells you a membership. Then it makes its money betting you won't use it. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to add up what it actually costs to open the doors before a single member walks in. We're going to find where the money really comes from, and it is not where you think. We're going to watch 3 of the biggest gym chains in America go bankrupt in a single year. And we're going to answer the only question that pays if a gym makes money when you don't show up who actually gets rich. Because TMI, one number that never makes it into the business plan. And it's the number that decides everything. Start with what it costs to get in the door as an owner, and the spread is enormous. At the small end, a single-room studio, a personal training space, a CrossFit box, a spin room. You can open for around $30,000 to $75,000 if you buy used equipment and keep the build-out cheap. The equipment alone, for a decent floor, runs $30,000 to $100,000. Go bigger, and the number stops being fun. A full independent commercial gym, real square footage, real machines. Front desk is a few $100,000 before you've sold a single membership. And if you buy the dream, the franchise, you are playing an entirely different game. To open one Planet Fitness, the company's own franchise disclosure puts the total investment between $1.5 and $5.2 million. $500,000 to $2 million just for the real estate build out. Another $400,000 to $900,000 in equipment. Plus a $20,000 fee just to be allowed to spend the rest. They want to see $1.5 million in cash and a net worth over $3 million before they'll even talk to you. The boutiques sit in between. An Orange Theory Studio, $800,000 to $1.4 million. An F45, $350,000 to $786,000, and the pitch is always the same. An average studio doing around $600,000 a year, a 5-year payback, easy, on the brochure. So before anyone has done a single push-up, an owner is a few $100,000 or a few $1 million in the hole, almost always financed, on a lease that runs 10 years. Hold on to that lease. It comes back. So where does all that money come back from? Here is where everyone gets it wrong. First, the scale, because this is a genuinely enormous industry. Roughly 77 million Americans hold a gym membership, close to 1 in 4 people. The highest it's ever been, up from 64 million before the pandemic. They're spread across something like 40,000 clubs. And together they spend somewhere between $36 and $41 billion a year. That's an average of about $500 to $600 a year. Remember, a number that only works because of the thing I am about to show you. Now you'd assume a gym makes money the obvious way. Sell memberships. People come in, use the machines, pay their dues. More people using the gym, more money. Right? It's almost the exact opposite. Look at the biggest gym company in America. Planet Fitness ended 2024 with 19.7 million members across 2,722 clubs. That is roughly 1 out of every 4 gym memberships in the entire country in one chain. Do the division on it. That's about 7,200 members per club. Now look at the actual building. A typical Planet Fitness is around 20,000 square feet. The fire code caps it at maybe 200 to 350 people at once. On a normal evening, real peak attendance is 50 to 60. 7,200 members, a room that fits a few hundred. If even a third of them showed up on the same day, it would be 2,000 people fighting over 30 treadmills. The gym physically does not work if you come. Only about 1 in 5 members could even train 4 times a week if they wanted to. There isn't floor for the rest. The ones who do come in average 4 to 6 visits a month, once a week. And that's counting only the people who show up at all. And it's priced that way on purpose. The classic membership is $15 a month. It was $10 until a 2024 hike, the first price increase in about 26 years. The premium black card is $24.99, and more than 60% of members choose it, the nicer tier, which they then use even less. The whole machine is built to attract people who will pay and not come. The $10 price. The free pizza night. The lunk alarm that blares if you grunt or drop a weight, which very politely tells serious lifters, the people who'd actually be in there 4 days a week, that this is not their gym. Attract the resolutioner. Repel the regular. Bank the gap. And the behavior proves it out. Something like 67% of members rarely or never use their membership. Nearly 1 in 5 memberships is completely unused, paid every month, never touched once. Americans burn an estimated $1.3 billion a year on gym memberships they don't use. You were never really the customer. You are the inventory. Which brings us back to that number nobody puts in the business plan. It's not the build out. It's not the rent. Every spreadsheet has those. The number that isn't in there, the one that quietly decides whether the whole thing lives or dies, is churn. How fast members quit. And they quit fast. About half of all new members quit within 6 months. Annual retention runs around 66%, meaning 1 in 3 walk every single year. And the January crowd, the resolution crowd, the reason the parking lot is jammed on January 2nd, that crowd is the worst of all. Roughly 1 in 8 of a gym's entire year of sign-ups happens in that 1 month. Most of them are gone by late spring. The gym knows this. It is counting on it. Here is the tell: go just 2 weeks without showing up, and your odds of canceling jump from 8% to 48%. So the model does 2 things at the same time. It's engineered so you don't come in, and then engineered so that quitting is just annoying enough that for another month or 3, you don't get around to it. The autopay clears whether you are on the treadmill or on your couch. That is the entire machine. Now remember the owner. A few $100,000 or a few million in debt. On the 10-year lease, they built a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet assumed a certain number of paying members. January arrives, the floor fills up, and for about 6 weeks it looks like the projection was dead on. Then half of them quit by summer. The demand that justified the loan turns out to have been breakage, and breakage walks out the door. The rent payment does not care. The equipment loan does not care. And if it's a franchise, the royalty does not care. 3 of the largest fixed costs a human being can sign up for, all balanced on the one number the plan left out. Sometimes it holds, sometimes it doesn't. In 2020, it didn't hold for almost anyone. The breakage model has one assumption buried at the very bottom of it: the members who never come will still keep paying. For a few months in 2020, they couldn't, and 3 of the most recognizable names in American fitness went down in a single year. 24 Hour Fitness, a national chain built on exactly this high volume. Low-visit model filed for bankruptcy in June of 2020, carrying around $1.4 billion in debt, and permanently closed more than 130 clubs. Gold's Gym, the bodybuilding icon, filed that May. Town Sports International, the parent company of New York Sports Club, and Boston Sports Club filed that September, and eventually shed most of its locations. The pandemic was the trigger, but look at the structure, because the structure is the real lesson. A gym is a mountain of fixed cost, a decade-long lease, financed equipment, a payroll, sitting on top of membership money that only holds up as long as people keep paying for something they mostly don't use. The instant that base had a reason to cancel, There was nothing underneath it. That's the loud way to fail. Here is the quiet one, and it's far more common. An owner finances the build-out a couple $100,000 for an independent, the full $1.5 to $5 million for a franchise. Signs the 10-year lease, where rent alone eats 15 to 25% of revenue. Staffs at payroll is another 30 to 40%. And if it's a franchise, the franchisor takes 7% of every dollar off the top, plus a 2% advertising fee, before the owner keeps a cent. Then churn goes to work. You've probably heard that most new gyms fail in the first year. The figure people throw around is 81%. That specific number is actually disputed. The honest estimates are lower, more like a quarter to a third. But the mechanism underneath it is real either way. The owner is long a decade of fixed costs and short a membership base that keeps walking out the door. When those two things don't reconcile, it's the owner who eats the loss, never the brand on the sign. So what does the survivor actually make? If a club fills up, if the breakage math works in your favor, a mature Planet Fitness can pull $1.9 to $3.5 million in revenue a year at 30 to 40% margins. Call it $300,000 to $700,000 of cash flow to the owner once it's established. That's a real business. That's the dream working. But most gym owners are not running a giant franchise at maturity. A 2024 survey of nearly 9,000 gym owners found the median owner took home about $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year. Many made nothing at all for the first year or two. That's the middle of the distribution, not the highlight reel the franchise brochure shows you. So if the owner is grinding for 48 grand, who is actually getting rich? Look at what Planet Fitness, the corporation, chooses to own, and the answer is almost none of the gyms. It franchises them out. The franchisees put up the $1.5 to $5 million, sign the leases, carry all of the risk. And Planet Fitness simply collects its 7% royalty and its ad fee off the top of every membership dollar from the members who show up, and from the millions who don't. In 2024, that franchise business, just the royalties and the fees, brought in $423 million. High-margin cash skimmed straight off the breakage, without owning a single treadmill or signing a single lease. The company monetizes the members who quit. It just never carries the building they quit in. And one rung further out, D here is an even cleaner version of the trick. A man named Alex Hormozi owned a chain of 6 gyms. Found it a grind. So he stopped running gyms and started selling other gym owners the system for running gyms. He licensed that playbook to roughly 4,500 facilities across 13 countries, more than $120 million in cumulative sales, and in 2021 he sold the business for a reported $46 million on his way to a net worth north of $100 million. He made a fortune in the fitness industry. He got there by not owning gyms. His single most popular video is a breakdown of Planet Fitness's business model, the very machine we just took apart, and it has been watched over 800,000 times. Even the story of how gyms really make money is, itself, a better business than owning the gym. Same lesson 3 times over. The member funds it. The owner risks it. The franchisor and the guru keep it. So should you own a gym? If you go in clear-eyed about what you are actually buying, maybe. Just be honest about what it is. You are not selling workouts. You are selling a monthly charge that most people are a little too optimistic to cancel. The treadmills are the set dressing. The forgotten autopay is the product. The gym was never the business. You were.